Okay, let's see here. I think we're live. Right now I'm just changing some stuff here. Um let's do that. Let's go ahead and put this in there. Um take that out, take that out. Let's do that's fine. That's fine. Take that out, take these guys out. Okay. And let's just do some boop, boop. Uh, let's do um and we'll just put this one in there too. Why not? Okay. That's part one's done. Alright, part two. Let's get part two done. Which is where I go here. I share. Send it up. Shoot. Okay, that part's done. Let's go here. Let me pause that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Pop out chat. Okay. Let's do comments. Boom. Close chat. Oh, okay. We already got a question here. Let's look at this. Dynasty full PPR. Boo, boo, boo. 1.775 for tight ends. Is my thing fine? Hold on, sorry. Okay. San Francisco's team is McConkey and Dobbins for Ayuk. Oh, that's a good question. I would for sure. I think Ayuk's a really good buy low candidate right now, and I think that as we move into the season, obviously, I think that he's going to get a lot more targets. So I would definitely pull the trigger on that. Um, even with Debo Samuel coming back, I wouldn't worry too much about Ayuk just because I think that he's more of a downfield target. So I would just keep. I would definitely do that trade. Um, yeah, that's my answer to that one. Let's see. Sorry, I still need to do this real quick. Just give me 1 second, guys. Um, all right, let me answer some of these as I'm doing this. If Joe Mixon plays tomorrow, would I have him in my lineup? That is a good question. I think it depends on who you have on your team. I think that if he does play, we're going to see him probably split a backfield, possibly. I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure Cam Akers is playing. I know that Damian Pierce is definitely out. So if Cam Akers and Joe Mixon are both playing, I think they're definitely going to see a little bit more of a split there. But depending on who your other running backs are, I would start Joe Mixon. Half PPR. Jonathan Taylor, Mason for Saquon Mostert. I do like Saquon more than JT. As far as trading Mostert for Mason, I think it depends on your team situation. If you're like 3-0 right now, I would definitely pull the trigger on that because as you know, once CMC comes back, Jordan Mason's role is going to be completely shattered, and Saquon is undoubtedly the RB1 in fantasy right now. I would honestly say that he's probably the RB1 rest of season. So I would do that depending on your team situation right now. Um, Good question there though. All right, let's do this. Go here, here. Okay. 1 and 2, Jacobs and Chubb as your other backs. Okay. Put this on screen here so everyone else can see. I would. Who would your flex spot be? Because obviously you're trading JT and Mason really just for Saquon right now because Mostert's hurt. So can you let me know who your flex spot is, and then I'll let you know what I think about that. Oh my gosh, there's no way that just happened. Oh my gosh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's do this. And okay. Go here. All right. While I'm trying to do this, let me see if this works here. Okay, yeah, it does. Just want to make sure. And then we'll go ahead and um, settings. Change this to. I think that should work. All right, let's go to check it out. Daniels or Stafford at QB? Definitely Jaden Daniels because of that rushing upside, and also Stafford does not really have any receivers right now with Kupp and Nakua out. All right, here we go. Put that there. Boom. Attachments. All right. Next question here. Keep Njoku at tight end or wait until we know how ankle is good. Okay. Um, I'm assuming we're having Njoku come back next week, so I would just hold on to him for now. And just see how he recovers really. All right, let's see. You got Debo, Neighbors, Diggs, Jameson, Odunze, and Addison. Wow. Okay, your team is stacked. All right, so we're gonna do 12 man 2 flex no KR league. Okay, so I'm assuming it's a 2 receiver. Okay, so we'll do. And then you have Saquon. flex. Yeah, I would do that because then you're gonna have um if Debo doesn't play, you'd be starting Neighbors, Diggs at your receiver spots, and then you'd have Jacobs and Saquon. And then your flex spot, you'd probably put in Odunze and either Jameson or Addison, either of those two. But obviously, if Debo plays, you plug in Debo for one that Jameson or Addison spot. So I would do that for sure, just because of how deep your team is right now. And on top of that, you have Chubb coming back, so I would do that for sure. Okay, why isn't it showing this? Okay, and then let's go here. All right, I'm finally ready and done with all that. Only took me 10 minutes, guys. I'm not sure if that's a record. Probably not. Probably one of my slowest times yet, but that is okay. All right, we got another question coming in, and for some reason it's not popping up on my thing because I want to show you guys the question. Okay, here we go. And that. All right, let's do it. Would you rather have? Why isn't? Oh my gosh, I have to do this again. Okay, hold on. Give me one, like literally 1 second. Cancel. Settings. There we go. There we go. All right. Would you rather have Michael Wilson, Kirk, or Leggett? Had him on my 12 man, but I dropped him since I have some receivers. Okay. For that's a good question there, actually. Let me look at something real quick. Is this just for this week, or are you looking at rest of season? I think if you're looking at rest of season, definitely Christian Kirk, just because he's definitely the wide receiver one in Jacksonville. Looking at week 4 though, that might be a little bit closer for me. Um, just because obviously Andy Dalton's playing instead of Bryce Young, but I think I'd still go Christian Kirk either way, just because he's the wide receiver one in that offense. Even though you kind of have a questionable quarterback play with Trevor Lawrence, I think that he's gonna be better. All right, let's look at some of this stuff here. Just this week, I can't really decide. Yeah, I would go with I'd go Christian Kirk. Um, just because I think he's gonna get the majority of targets out of Trevor Lawrence. I don't think I can show you. Just in case, I don't know. I would hit it anyway. Um, yeah, okay. I would just go with Christian Kirk if you would have to pick up Leggett. All right, actually, okay. So here's what I wanted to show you guys. If we go here, let's see if this works. Yesterday was giving me issues, but I did figure it out after a while. We're gonna go to NFL Pro, which is basically like a bunch of stats here. Let's look at the stat. Okay. Stats. Yeah, yeah, I would just stick with him for now. I mean, we can look more in depth too here. The Jags do play the Texans defense, who is pretty good. I would definitely go Kirk, but I think Kirk will get better as time goes on. I really think it's just about Trevor Lawrence just stepping it up. Really, I think he can. I don't know why he's not. To be honest with you, so someone said like I was supposed to do better for it. Yeah, I've seen this. I think it's really it's. I think it's mostly because Legette's a rookie in the NFL, and a lot of people. Oh, for the week. Okay. Um, Hold on. Let me see who the Panthers play, because I was looking at the rest of season stuff. People were saying. Okay, they're playing the Bengals, so I could definitely see why people are hyping up because of how good Jaden Daniels did against the Bengals last week and against their passing defense. Um, I don't know though, because last week, let me go to last week. I want to see what Legette did. Oh, this is passing. Um, why are we looking at passing? I don't want to see that. Let's go to receiving. Andrews or Laporta? No, Laporta, no question, but he's injured and plays Monday. Um, I think just because let me see if this has the week 3 snap counts, because I want to show you. I believe. Dog. Did he have? Wait, did he have no catches? All right, there it is. One target. He played. It doesn't show a snap count percentage. I'm pretty sure Andrew's snap count percentage was down this past week. I think it's gonna go back up this week. Um, Maybe they'll think he get more targets. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too here. Um, that's Here, let me look up Legette's targets last week, because we're also looking at he had 3 targets, 2 receptions. If we go to the Panthers, um, let's look at the Panthers week 3. Let's look at their target distribution. Okay, I guess it just wants to show me Xavier Legette. Oh, probably that's there. All right, let's see. So targets Deontay. Oh, and then Thielen's also going to be out this week too. I'm pretty sure. Um, so we might see. I still think those targets are probably going to go Deontay. I think Deontay's going to get a lot of this offense from Andy Dalton. I could see Xavier Legette probably having a decent week, but like I think if you want to be safe about it, you go Christian Kirk. Because yeah, look at that. Christian Kirk had 10 targets last week, so he's definitely the wide receiver 1 for Trevor Lawrence. But if you want to go risky, I mean I wouldn't blame you for going Legette. Looking at Andrews or Laporta. Yeah, something to be concerned definitely with this ankle. I believe yesterday was whenever they said he was coming back. They're playing the Seattle defense too. Let's see. Let's look at their defense. Ooh, okay, that's surpassing efficiency. Okay, apparently, I would still go Laporta over Mark Andrews for sure. Um, just because Mark Andrews' snap count was down last week, so it's hard for me to start someone over Laporta considering how good Laporta was last year. I don't think I can give up on him just yet. You know, I still think he has the potential to be like one of the best tight ends in the league. Jaden Reed or David Montgomery? I would definitely go Jaden Reed, or I mean, not Jaden Reed. I would definitely go Montgomery here. Let me look at the just because I actually do have Jaden. I'm starting Jaden Reed too in my league, but um actually I wouldn't I wouldn't hate starting Jaden Reed. Who the Packers play? Ooh, yeah, okay. So the Vikings do allow, I think it was like the second most amount of yards to receivers. And you have potential if Jordan Love comes back. Jaden Reed, I think, is going to be the wide receiver one. Even though he only played 50% of snaps last week, which was a little bit surprising to me. Um, Monty though, we're looking at the Lions playing Seattle as well. Okay, so I think you go Monty here. Um, but like once again, if you're trying to get like risky with it, and like you think like you think you have an advantage over your opponent, I wouldn't blame you for starting Jaden Reed because I think Jaden Reed's a good flex play if you're trying to look for like a boomer bust type player. I think that's probably what he's gonna bring to the table. Um, yeah, good question there. All right, let's go to the let's look at some of these games. What game do we want to look at? We can go one by one. That'd be fun, right? Okay, let's look at the Eagles and the Buccaneers. So obviously with the Eagles, we're not gonna have AJ Brown. I believe they wrote out Devonta Smith as well. I'm actually curious to see who their wide receiver one is gonna be. All right, I guess AJ Brown's questionable right now. I think that if they're both out, Dallas Goedert's gonna go crazy. I think that he's gonna get the majority of the receptions. I could definitely see Saquon also getting a lot of receptions at the backfield. Jahan Dotson, okay, he's a wide receiver behind. That'd be interesting to see the Jahan Dotson how he's gonna play with no AJ Brown or Devonta Smith. They're both out, obviously. Um, Looking at the Bucks, though, you definitely want to see a bounce back game from Mike Evans here. Just because I mean he was shadowed by Patrick Surtain to be fair, and I made a video about Surtain yesterday. He's locking up everyone that he's playing right now, and like literally he allowed 8 yards versus the Buccaneers last week, which is absolutely insane. I think I really hope that Rachaad White's role keeps on getting minimized. Honestly, I think that it will. I think we're gonna see Bucky Irving get a lot more snaps and like have a bigger role within this offense. Looking overall though, I think that the Buccaneers are underdogs in this game. I think it depends on AJ Brown's health status. AJ Brown, if he plays, have you heard any news? No, the only thing I've heard is that he's questionable. We can look on X though. Let me check. If I find something, I'll pull it up here. But last I saw, he was still questionable with his hamstring. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything right now. Um, if he plays, you win your week, no doubt, dude. I bet, bro. It, it's so annoying that with all these injuries in the NFL right now. Um, I had McCaffrey, Debo, T Higgins. Who else did I have? I had so many people go out with injuries, and I basically traded everyone. So my whole team in my main league is like so much more different than it was at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on AJ Brown right now. I think he's still questionable, but obviously, if he plays, definitely, I think he's a must-start player for sure, especially with Devonta Smith out. Um, but yeah, looking at this game overall, I think that this game's gonna be pretty interesting to watch. I think that we see Mike Evans come back into you know what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah, and I think Saquon's gonna go absolutely ballistic too. That Buccaneers defense right now is 31 in rushing efficiency. I think I saw something like they allow some of the most yards per carry in the entire NFL, really. So I think that's gonna be something to watch as well. Just traded Bijan for Mason and McCaffrey, then turned CMC and Connor to James Cook. Dude, I like that. I could take that for sure. Um, nobody's. Yeah, I think Riley Moss is definitely someone that's gonna be interesting in the NFL. Let me see his coverage. I'm trying to figure out. I'm still trying to work this. I got this yesterday, but I want to see his coverage snaps if it shows me. You think Bijan's overrated? I don't think he's like super overrated. I think Bijan's. I think he's probably like RB3 or RB2. Um, what makes you say Bijan's overrated though? I'm curious. Let's see. Let's go. Sorry, why did I blank out his name? Did I spell his name wrong? I did spell his name wrong. R-I-L-E. There we go. All right, let's see. Um, Hold on. Let me see if I can find his film stuff. I like looking at the film stuff more than that. Let's see him play against the. All right, as I'm loading this up, let's see what you guys are asking. Let me mute this too. Let's see. Get you fired up, dude. Yeah, I think. Let's see. Where's the? You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna have to look at his film more in depth later. Cause this stuff, I'm not too sure how this works just yet. But all right, let's get back to questions here. Um, whoops. All right. Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, Jerome Ford, um, Kenneth Walker. Need one receiver, one flex. Thank you so much. All right, with your. I would definitely go Deontay Johnson because I think he's gonna get like almost every target out of the Panthers. Really, so I would definitely start him. With your other spot, depending on if you want to be safe, I go Terry McLaurin, even though he's definitely like a risk player there. I just don't. I'm not sure how they're gonna play Kenneth Walker. I just saw that he's coming back this week for sure, but I'm not too sure. Let me look up real quick if they said anything about him, like on if he's having a snap count. If Kenneth Walker's not having a snap count, you obviously have to start him. Um, ready to play. He's back. All right. They're saying that Charbonnet's expected to split touches. Charbonnet splitting touches, I would definitely go with Terry McLaurin. Um, Let me see who the Commanders play actually. Arizona. Arizona's defense is pretty solid, but ooh, I don't know. The Seahawks play the Monday night against Detroit. Yeah, that's a pretty tough matchup there too. I yeah, I would just go Terry considering it's a flex play and you kind of want like super high potential guys in your flex play even if they're big risks. Tyler Sure can almost do everything he can. Yeah, that's true. I just think that the rather have James Cook. Yeah, I think James Cook is definitely he's pretty underrated, honestly. And yeah, with Josh Allen, as long as he's that quarterback, they're gonna be absolutely crazy. Good trade me. Okay, so you were starting Levis because Jordan Love was injured, but it was giving me Levis, reminder Stevenson for Pollard, Andrews, and Minshew. Do I think you won? So you traded Levis and Stevenson for Pollard, Andrews, Minshew. Yeah, I like that a lot because I really don't think Ramondre Stevenson's gonna amount to anything just because of how bad this Patriots offense is. With Pollard, obviously he's splitting the role with Tajay Spears, so that's a little questionable. But I think that Mark Andrews, honestly, is someone you can buy low. Just considering how bad he's been, and I think that as time goes on, he's gonna get more involved in this offense. With Minshew, I think he's a solid streamer option at quarterback. Obviously, if Jordan Love's hurt, you're probably gonna start either Minshew or depending on who's on your waivers, you just pick someone else up. So you're basically here trading Ramondre Stevenson for Pollard and Andrews. So I like that a lot actually. Um, that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. All right. Um. Oh yeah, did I? I don't know if I fully answered this fully. I'll go Deontay and Terry McLaurin. I think I did say that. But yeah, we'll just go with those guys. Um, let me see. What were we talking about before? We were talking about Certain, talking about um, Riley Moss, and then I was going into the games. That's right. All right. Who else do I want to look at here? Jets Denver. Oh, speaking about Certain, I guess we can talk about this here too. So yeah, like, I mean, I said this in my short yesterday. I think that Garrett Wilson's going to be a tough start this week just because of Certain obviously absolutely dominating everyone he's been playing so far. Um, so I mean, I think that Garrett Wilson, as the season goes on, is definitely going to get more of a role with Aaron Rodgers. So he's definitely a good receiver to have rest of season. And honestly, if you're someone who's like 3-0 right now, I would take Garrett. I would try to trade for Garrett Wilson, considering that he's kind of like a buy low candidate for me. Um, but I mean, other than that, Brees Hall, I'm actually really interested to see how the Jets like split Brees Hall and Braylon Allen. Like if that's gonna continue to be like 50-50, kind of like what we saw last week with their rushing attempts at least. I really hope it's not because number one, I have Brees Hall in fantasy. Um, but definitely, I think that Brandon Allen's definitely one of those guys that in fantasy you can roster just because if Brees Hall gets hurt, we know who the running back one's going to be and how he's going to be used very like a workhorse running back basically. So, but going into this game, I am just like going to be really interested to see how Garrett Wilson and Surtain how that matchup goes. Um, And obviously, Bo Nix, just looking at him, just seeing how he plays against this Jets defense as a rookie, seeing him go against like a really good defense. Steelers Colts, I think that this is a really bad matchup for Anthony Richardson. I feel bad. Like Anthony Richardson's really good, but his like naturally he's super athletic. He's got everything you want as a quarterback. He can run the ball. He can throw it deep. It's just really hard for him right now because honestly his accuracies are just not there at all, and that's kind of like his issue. There are sometimes like he's not really making the wrong read per se. Like he's making the right read like where his receiver like Alec Pierce for example, he's been beating the safety a lot and he's throwing it downfield. He just can't make that connection right. So and the Steelers defense though, that's gonna be a really hard match. Oops, dropped you guys. That's gonna be a really hard matchup for him this week. Um, I need a camera stand. That's why that fell. I like need my desk and that. Anyway, so I think that that's definitely gonna be interesting to see there. Um. All right, got another question here. Will the Vikings defense continue to produce against the Packers? Or oh, sorry. Will the Vikings offense continue to produce against the Packers defense? Um, I think so. I mean, I do think the Packers defense last week definitely went insane. I mean, if we look at this game, Packers right now number 6 on defense or number 8 on defense and passing, 15 rushing, 14 pressure. Um, So I think that the Vikings, at least I hope they still go off because I am kind of rooting for Sam Darnold, even though he absolutely destroyed my Texans. So I do expect the Vikings offense to continue to be pretty solid. Um, Something I will be monitoring though, just speaking about this game, is Josh Jacobs. Obviously, with his snap count between him and I believe it was Emmanuel Wilson. Just because I mean, me personally, I think that it's kind of being over exaggerated a little bit. Just because I think that Josh Jacobs had a smaller role because he had 30 some odd carries week two. I forget who they played, but I mean, if I'm a coach too, I'm probably not going to play Josh Jacobs as a workhorse running back like I did. Um, so but it's definitely going to be something to monitor if they keep that split with Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson. I don't think they will. I think Jacobs should be the like at least getting 75% of the snaps here, but that's definitely going to be something interesting to see as well. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about we talked about Pittsburgh, Indiana. I think that Pittsburgh should win this game. I think that defense is going to be way too much for Anthony Richardson. Looking at Jacksonville versus the Texans, the Texans have the number one pressure rate. I mean, that's not surprising me because I remember week two against the Bears, we pressured him. I think it was like 35 out of 37 times. I mean, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter off the edge. That's like really hard to stop. Um, but yeah, so with the Texans being number one in pressure rate, this is gonna be definitely a little bit tougher for the Jaguars to get it going offensively. I really hope that we can see CJ Stroud get better at like throwing the ball though. Like this year so far, he hasn't really been throwing the ball as much as he used to last year, or just like not making the same connections. And coming into this year, I did expect Stroud to have like I thought he was gonna be better than last year for sure, and I think that he still will be. And I think last game probably was just so I just look right here. So right now he's like 67% completion. That's pretty good. Four touchdowns to two interceptions. Definitely those two interceptions. One of them was like a tip ball. One of them was definitely his fault. But he definitely hasn't been bad this year. I think going forward, I expect him to throw more deep balls to Nico Collins because I think that's really what he's kind of lacking right now, or is those explosive offensive plays. Um. Oh, you got Mayfield too, and it's a QB league. Oh, okay, I get you. Two QB, two running back, one tight end, flex. Okay. I'm assuming two receivers as well. Um. Oh, two flexes, three wide receivers. Dang. Okay, it's a lot of players. So yeah, then I actually like I think I like that more now because you're getting three players for two, and like I said before, so I think Minshew's even better since it's yeah, I agree. I think that's even better than before. I thought we were just in a generic one QB, two running back, two wide receiver, one flex, one tight end. So I like that a lot more actually. Just because now you have more room to start Pollard and Minshew, and then you can throw Mark Andrews in there in the flex if you really wanted to as well. Depending on who your tight end is, of course. But yeah, I think as the season goes on, looking at Stroud, I think that we should see him throw the ball more downfield. Um, I wonder if it has like intended air yards. Let's see, pass expected, average pass per dropback. I feel like this should be deep pass percent. Let's look at that, right? Anthony Richardson won. That's not surprising at all. Stroud right now is number 10. Let's look at last year. Last year he was oh dang, he was down here at 15. 10.2%. What was it this year? I already forgot. 10.1%. Alright, I guess it's like the same. Um that's weird. I don't know. I feel like the Texans just aren't getting the exact like the same amount of explosive plays as they were last year. And I think that's really why their offense right now is kind of like their passing offense is in the struggle bus a little bit, you know? Um But yeah, I mean, looking at this game overall, I think that the Texans should destroy the Jacksonville Jaguars just because their defense is going to be too much for T Law. I think T Law, like, I don't know what's up with him. I for me, for some reason, I never liked him. I think it was just because like coming out of college, he was supposed to be so good. I really like, like underdog guys. So I think that that's gonna be something. That's just one reason why I don't really like Trevor Lawrence. Sorry, I'm reading this. Some news for you. Jordan Love's gonna be active. That is perfect because I have Jaden Reed in my flex spot. Now I have a problem though. Would y'all? Quick question for y'all. Would y'all start Jaden Reed or T Higgins this week? Right now, I think I have Jaden Reed. And considering Jordan Love is playing, I might keep it like that. The only reason why I'm thinking about T Higgins is because T Higgins played like 95% of the snaps his first game back. And obviously that Bengals offense is gonna be really good. Um, so let me know what y'all think about that actually, because I have been deciding about that for this whole week, and I'm not sure what to do. All right, let's look down here at the Rams Bears. Okay, this game actually I think should be interesting. Start T. All right, I'll get some. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a hard question for me. I'm gonna get a bunch of different people to see. Vikings defense is nuts this year in the pass game. Yeah, that's true. Who the Bengals play? The Panthers. How's the Panthers pass defense looking? Really, really bad. 25th in the league. Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm probably gonna make that decision like right before the games tomorrow and see how that works out. Um, actually, didn't I see some? Hold on. I thought I saw something on Twitter about the Vikings allowing a bunch of. Let me see. Like there's like top 10 in yards allowed pass defense. I don't know if it shows me here. Here it just shows me they're 11th best in passing defense. Um, all right, maybe if I go like, let's do this. All right, let's just go look at let's go look at Vikings defenses. Games. Let's do week 3. Let's look at the. Okay, so the Vikings played the Texans. Looking at receiver. Diggs had 94, Nico 86, Dell 62. Once again, the Texans didn't have Joe Mixon, so they were throwing the ball a lot. Week 2. Let's see, they play week 2. Okay, I probably just went right by them because I'm blind. There they are. Niners. Debo had 110, Kittle 76, 43, Mason. I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting because I'm pretty sure I saw a stat that they allow a bunch of passing yards per game to the receivers. Let's see what they did against Neighbors here. First game, 66 yards, 44. Okay. So definitely, I think I'm definitely going to make that decision tomorrow. But yeah, speaking of the Bengals, let's look at this game here. Because I think, oh wait, I didn't even talk about this. I think I talked about how bad the Bears rushing offense is. Obviously, probably the worst in the league. Right now their passing offense also is not very good, but I do think that Caleb Williams had a pretty bad first 2 game start. I think that last game we saw him throw the ball a lot more, and I think we're going to continue to see him throw the ball just because, once again, how bad he is, or how bad this rushing offense is. And I think that Roma Dunze and DJ Moore, I think they're going to probably see the most of this. I think Keenan Allen, honestly, he might fall down to like a wide receiver 3 role for the Bears, even though he's so talented. I'm just not too sure about how Keenan Allen's going to fit within this offense, really. Because Odunze's going to get all the deep shots, and then you're going to have DJ Moore get in just basically everything. So I don't know. I guess we'll see how Keenan Allen plays. I think he's playing this week, so hopefully we'll see what he's looking like. Let's see, receiver. Okay, he's still questionable, but he was full. He's probably playing because he was full in practice, so I wouldn't be surprised there. Oh, these are some cool stats here. completed just 43.1% of in rhythm passes. Lowest completion percentage on such attempts. Huh. I haven't looked too much into this. Like I just said, I got this yesterday, so I mean, some pretty cool stuff here. Not gonna lie. Um, all right, let's look at the Bengals and the Panthers game here. But yeah, I think we talked about how bad the Panthers are defensively. Offensively, I think it'll be interesting to see if Dalton can continue. Obviously, you kind of have a revenge game here against the Bengals. Um, so it's something to be watching. I think that we're we're gonna continue to see Deontay Johnson kind of just be like a target eater. Like he's just gonna get all the targets really from Andy Dalton, and I don't see too many people that could probably contest him. Like he's getting double the amount at the second most Xavier Legette, right? So I think it's gonna be tougher to start anyone other than Deontay Johnson in this offense. Obviously, Chuba Hubbard had a really good game last week as well, so you could probably start him. But yeah, some pretty interesting stuff here. I really do hope that T Higgins does well, even if I don't start him, um, just because he's on my team, you know. Yo, what's up, Bryce? How you doing? Sorry. Um, okay, if Olave doesn't play, do I start Addison or Shakir? Great question. I think with Jordan Addison, okay. Once again here, I think Shakir, like as the seasons go on, or as the season has been going on, we've seen Shakir kind of be more like a safe play in fantasy. Looking at his overall, let me go here. Let's look at Khalil Shakir, right? Shakir. Let's go ahead and look at this. Oh, BB, how you doing, bro? Yeah, I was gonna ask, this is BB or BK? Because I was a little bit confused there, but how you doing, bro? I haven't seen you in forever. Oh, it's because we're on passing. I don't know why it does that. I think I'd be leaning Khalil Shakir, but I am interested to see his stats. So week 1, 42 yards with the touchdown. Week 2, more targets, more targets. So his target rate has been going up as the season's been going through, right? But obviously with the Vikings, Sam Darnold's looking really good right now, so I wouldn't blame you for starting. Um, so yeah, I'd probably go Khalil Shakir there. You want to come over to my house and shoot some baskets? We're having a barbecue at my place later today, so sadly I can't. But maybe tomorrow though. Might have time tomorrow for sure. All right, let's look at this game. Let's look at the Saints Falcons. Um, all right, obviously the Saints offense, at least passing wise, was not as good as the week before that. So that's gonna be something to watch. I think it's really because not only because of Khalil Shakir not getting any targets, but I think that we all kind of knew that this offense wasn't going to continue to be like as good as it was week 1 and 2, right? I think if I think as the season goes on, we're gonna see like a mixture of Derek Carr between weeks 1 and 2 and week 3. Like I think week 3 was kind of like it was definitely a bad game for the Saints overall, but I think as time goes on, it's probably gonna balance out. You know, looking at the Falcons side of things, though, I am curious to see how Bijan does. I'm curious to see, if Drake London, obviously, how he's going to continue to do in a fantasy football perspective, at least as well. I really do hope that we see more targets and receptions go Drake London's way. Right now, obviously, he's at about 5 for 64. I think he's had like 2 touchdowns this year, or maybe he's only had 1. I don't know. I think it's 2. So obviously that's something to look at. I wonder how Darnell Mooney's going to continue to fit in this offense. I do hope as well Kyle Pitts gets more receptions and receiving yards because I have him in a lot of underdog best ball drafts. So I guess we'll see how that goes there. I did fall into the trap of drafting Kyle Pitts every single year, I swear. Um, but yeah, I do think we're gonna continue to see Alvin Kamara just absolutely dominate. I think the Falcons rush defense. Well, obviously you can see here they're number 20. But I believe that they allowed like a bunch of yards the past couple of weeks to every other running back they faced. Um, yeah, I got you, bro. No problem. Um, yeah. So let's look at the. What was I doing? I was looking at the Falcons rush defense. All right, let's do that. Oops. Falcons. Can I do Falcons player? Or do I have to do by team? Probably by team. Yeah. Or actually, let's do this. Let's look up who Falcons game week 3. So let me look at that, and we'll go to rushing. So they played the. Oh yeah, they played the Chiefs, the Eagles, and then week 1 they played the Steelers. So week 3 at least we did see Carson Steele come in with the new role, and I think that he had like 70 yards on a decent amount of carries. Um, yeah, 72 yards on 17 carries. Samaje Perine 6 carries on with 25 yards. So I think that Saquon's absolutely going to crush in this game against this, or not Saquon. Alvin Kamara's going to crush against the Falcons rush defense here. I think I was saying Saquon because I was thinking about week 2 because they played the Saints, or they played the Eagles week 2 and absolutely destroyed them. Okay, but looking at the Patriots Niners. Okay, so I think this game I'm more focused on seeing Debo, right? Because obviously he might be coming back this week. So I'd be interested to see how the receiving core is gonna come back, if or like how this is gonna happen. Mainly because Ayuk obviously basically has little to no role right now on this team. I don't even know if is he gonna be on here. Okay, yeah, he is. 5x 73. Is this year? This no, this can't be right. Okay, this has to be like something else because Brandon Ayuk is averaging 7 points in fantasy right now. Hmm. I don't know. I, like I said, I just got this, so I guess I'll figure it out. But anyway, looking at this, so if Debo Samuel plays, I'm gonna be interested to see, like I said, how he slides in for Brandon Ayuk. I think he's honestly just gonna take a lot of Juwan Jennings like targets. And with George Kittle coming back as well, I think once again he's just gonna take a lot of Juwan Jennings targets as well. I think that Ayuk's kind of just like a different role player compared to Debo and Kittle. So I'm definitely gonna be interested to see how this plays, though. I think that this could be a week where Brandon Ayuk goes off, considering how bad the Patriots are in basically every facet. And obviously we're gonna probably see this game be a blowout, and I could see Jordan Mason running the ball a lot. That's really kind of what I'm getting at from this game. Um, Let me see something here with the. Sorry. Okay. All right. Let's go here and let's look at the Commanders Cardinals. All right. Obviously, Commanders last week Monday Night Football, probably the craziest game of the week. They played against a Bengals defense that was not very good. Um, got a question here. Hold on. Would you trade Mason and CMC plus Moss for Nico? Probably not. Because Mason and CMC, honestly, those two right there, that's gonna be your San Francisco 49ers offense rush game for the whole year. Zach Moss, I'm really interested in because of how good this Bengals offense is, so I wouldn't pull the trigger on that. Especially considering this week with Nico with his hamstring injury, I'm not too sure how severe that's gonna be. He was in limited practice on Thursday, I think. That's just looking at this week, obviously, but full season, I think Mason and CMC. I still wouldn't even do that for Nico. And on top of that, you're giving up Zach Moss, so I would just hold Mason, CMC, and Moss for now. All right. Anyway, let's look at this. So, Commanders versus Cardinals. definitely going to be interesting. I really hope we continue to see Jane Daniels throw the ball more to Terry McLaurin, his main target, because I think that that's kind of like where he needs to improve at right now. Obviously, he's running the ball a lot. We did see actually against the Bengals, he had so much poise in the pocket. Like he looked super calm. He almost looked like a veteran in my opinion. So something to look at with Jane Daniels is how he plays overall against this Cardinals defense. He was obviously, mm, you can see here, not that good, a little bit subpar there. But yeah, like the Commanders, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go off. The Commanders right now are just absolutely known for their passing defense to be horrible. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Marvin Harrison Jr. get like over 100 yards easily. And it's going to be interesting to see Kyler Murray continue to build that relationship with Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, yeah. I need to like see where these stats. If this stats is like, oh, these are projections. Oh my gosh, I'm I'm stupid. Sorry. These are the projections for the games. So we're I can't believe I just realized that. So yeah, they're projecting Marvin Harrison to have like 72 yards. I mean, I easily think that he could go for 100, no doubt. Um, okay, well, this is interesting. Now I want to kind of see what they're doing for T Higgins here. Just talking about that. Okay, so they're looking at almost 5 receptions for 65 and a half. Oh man, that's pretty good. That's at least okay. And then we're looking at Jaden Reed. Let's see what they got for Jaden Reed. Let's see. I didn't really. I kind of like this a lot now. This is just projections. Jaden Reed, they have. All right, yeah. So I guess here they're saying to start T Higgins here as well. I don't know. That's kind of cool. All right. I'm assuming they do like super advanced stats to make all that up. I mean, there's no other way to do that, honestly. But let's look at this Browns Raiders game here. Looking at the Browns. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this first stat here with Amari Cooper having 272 air yards on incomplete passes, most in the NFL. So, like, Deshaun Watson's targeting him, and he's targeting him deep. There was one ball in specific that I remember. I think it was week 1 that he dropped that definitely could have easily been a touchdown. So it's not like Amari Cooper isn't being targeted. Oh, okay, so the Eagles actually just downgraded A.J. Brown to out. So that's interesting. Um, Something to look at there, I guess. So, I mean, I think we're going to see Dallas Goedert just go off then because there's no Devonta, there's no A.J. Brown. He's going to get so many targets out of Jalen Hurts. So, also, Jahan Dotson, I wonder how that's going to work out. But let's look here, right, at the Browns. So, honestly, with the rushing, I know Deontay Foreman and Jerome Ford are kind of like in a split role. I believe Deontay Foreman started 2 games ago, and I think Jerome Ford started last game. So, they're like I don't really think either of them are startable, to be honest with you. I don't think any running back is startable in the Browns offense until Nick Chubb comes back, where he's going to be that workhorse running back most likely. Looking at the Raiders, though, I do think with Devontae Adams being out this game, I think that Brock Bowers should get a lot of targets. I'm trying to see. Okay, here are the injuries because I thought that I also saw. Okay, I guess I was lied to. Oh, they said Meyer. They said Myers is going to be out. I thought someone said Jacoby Myers is also going to be out, but looking at the projections for Bowers here, they have him at 51.5 yards, 4.6 receptions. I mean, I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Jacoby Myers does here. And also just looking at Zamir White, if you have him fantasy, we've kind of learned that you can't really start him because him, Alexander Madison, and just like that backfield is so questionable right now. We don't really know what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, I really hope that Amari Cooper gets it going because I think he's really talented. I think he's just kind of hindered by Deshaun Watson's play right now. Oh, we got another question here for Rams House. Let's see. Yeah, what's up, Rams? I remember you, Dynasty Phobia. Okay. Ladin Dobbins for Ayuk or Ingram. We could either do Ladin Dobbins for Ayuk or Ingram, Myers, and Dobbins instead. Oh, like Evan Ingham, Jacoby Myers, and Dobbins instead. I would do that. Um, who's your tight end right now? Actually, um, I would say because that was the one thing I was looking at because that's a dynasty league. So I think Ladd McConkey is going to be the wide receiver one for the Chargers for a decent amount of time. But as far as J.K. Dobbins, I think he's a good trade in dynasty right now. I would probably pull the trigger on the Ingram, Myers, and Dobbins because I do think Ladd's gonna be really good in the future. So that's kind of what I think about it. I mean, unless your tight end right now is absolutely doo doo buns. McBride, Hawk, and Ingram. Yeah, definitely trade Ingram, Myers, and Dobbins instead. McBride's gonna be the tight end one for 1.75. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, your tight end core is fine then. Ooh, but McBride's not playing this week, right? Let me check. I mean, I think you still pull the trigger on that. Yeah, they don't have McBride playing this week. You still pull the trigger on that. Just this week, you're probably gonna have to pick someone up off waivers. But I mean, you're trading one, two, three. You're trading three guys for one, so you'll have two waiver spots there. So I would do the second option with Ingram, Myers, and Dobbins for sure. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, okay. So we were talking about Cleveland, Vegas. So let's go to Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, and Ingram's not playing. Yeah, yeah. I would just pull the trigger on that. You start on Parkinson. I think Parkinson's a pretty good start, honestly, just because even last game he did pretty well. He got a lot more targets than I was expecting him to actually. So if you can pick up Addison, should you drop Shakir Williams or Coleman? Is the I would do Williams because I think Shakir and Coleman. I think Coleman's a good hold for the rest of the season just because he's a rookie, and I think that we're gonna continue to see his role goes up. I think that Shakir's like a good like he's gonna continue to be the wide receiver one for the Bills as time goes on. Um, I'm assuming you're talking about Javante Williams there. I'm not 100%. But if that's Javante, I would drop Javante for sure for Addison. All right, let's see this Chiefs Chargers game. Oh yeah, my boy Joe Alt is out. I'm so sad. He's my favorite prospect this year, at least in this draft class, just because of how good he is at O line. He's insane. But yeah, I mean, let's look at the Chargers here. If Herbert doesn't play, they really got Jameson Williams. Yeah, I'm stupid. Jameson Williams. So we're looking at Shakir Williams or Coleman. Okay. So now that's a tough one. All right, now they're saying Herbert's gonna play, so we'll talk about that later. I think you keep Shakir and Williams. I think you drop Coleman for Addison for sure. That's what I would do. Um, because I think Williams. Yeah, Jameson I think is gonna be a good receiver just because of how his boomer bust potential there in the flex spot at least. So I will go with him there. All right, but looking at this game, oh my gosh, part two. I'm telling you, I need a camera stand bad. Looking at the Chargers Chiefs though, like I just said, they actually ruled Justin Herbert as healthy, so this game might be a little bit more interesting than before. Will be more interesting than before, obviously, because Herbert's a pretty solid quarterback. If you guys did not know, looking at what they're projecting out, yeah, they're projecting McConkey to be this wide receiver one, then Quentin. I think right now you can't really start Quentin Johnson. You could probably start McConkey, depending on how deep your league is. I am definitely gonna be continuing to look at J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, what they did with this running back role. Like kind of like how they split it. I think they're gonna continue to see, or we're gonna continue to see J.K. Dobbins get the majority of this role. Um, And I think that if Justin Herbert plays, obviously, like I just said, this game's gonna be a lot closer. But I still think the Chiefs walk away with this easily. I'm also curious to see Carson Steele, Samaje Perine. We saw Carson Steele. He was kind of like almost a workhorse running back in this offense. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Rashee Rice is looking like one of the best receivers in the league. Like Mahomes' favorite target by far. And I do hope Kelsey gets it going just because, you know, he's just a legend, you know. You don't want to see a legend go down like that. All right, another question here from Jesse. Start three. Kyren, Mason, Cook, Taylor. I would go. I would go Mason, Taylor, and Cook. Even though Kyren just went absolutely insane. I don't know why. I really just don't like Kyren Williams for some reason. Cause he just seems like a guy who can like just do absolute buns one week. Look at matchups real quick. So we're looking at New England. So I would definitely do Jordan Mason. Bills are playing the Ravens. Colts are playing Pittsburgh. Kyron. The Chargers. Chargers playing the Chiefs. Honestly, they're all in pretty tough matchups. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely Jordan Mason. Between James Cook, Taylor, and Kyron, though, that's definitely a toss-up for me. But I would go James Cook and Jonathan Taylor just because I think, obviously, James Cook is like in probably one of the best. He's in one of the best offenses in the league. So I would go Cook there. Between Jonathan Taylor and Kyron, though, that's really a toss-up in my opinion, just with the matchups. So I would go Taylor, but start two non PPR. We got Jason, JMO, DJ Moore, and Flowers. Okay, we're definitely going DJ Moore. Um, I would go. I would go DJ Moore and Flowers. Um, just because I think DJ Moore, he's gonna continue to see like all this passing offense from Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is gonna continue to pass the ball a lot because the the Bears rushing defense sucks. Uh, and Zay Flowers, I think that he's just a pretty safe play here. I think as the season goes on, though, we're definitely going to see JSN get a lot more targets as time continues to go on. Yeah, I got you, Jesse. No problem. Do you start Reed over London because of Love News? I would keep Drake London because I think Drake London's probably the safer pick. Obviously, we saw Jaden Reed's snap count go down a little bit from week 2 to week 3. I think he only played around like 50% of snaps. And he played around 70% the week before that. So I mean I think Jaden Reed's that's probably not gonna be an issue because I think that he's gonna continue to get more snaps. Obviously, I think he's probably gonna be the wide receiver one in this offense. Um, but I mean, let's see, what are the matchups? Packers play Minnesota, and then we're looking at the Falcons playing New Orleans. I would just go with Drake London for sure. Just because I think that's the safer play for now. I gotta see more out of Jaden Reed, like more consistency out of him before I put him over Drake London. Trey McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, and Terry McLaurin. Oh, question for Raymond. Sorry, gotta say your name first. Trey McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, and Terry for Stevenson and DJ Moore. I would. I think I'd probably hold off on that because. Well, let's compare this, right? So we're looking at McCaffrey and Bucky Irving or Stevenson. I would rather have McCaffrey and Bucky Irving for the rest of the season. Looking at Scary Terry or DJ Moore, I think I'd rather have DJ Moore. But I think Terry, he's going to get a bigger role as the season goes on. Um, if it was me, I probably would hold off on that just because of how bad Ramondre Stevenson's offense is with the Patriots. I think that's kind of like the deal breaker for me there. Um, yeah, I mean that's kind of like what I think, and I think Bucky Irving's probably going to take over Rashad White sooner rather than later. Maybe not like definitely not workhorse running back, but I could see him getting more snaps than Bucky White. All right, George. Let's see. Also, someone offered you CMC and Olave for Mason and Jason. Thoughts? You have Barkley and Gibbs right now. Okay. If you have Barkley and Gibbs, I think you might as well hold on to CMC. Um, I'm assuming. Can you let me know what your record is, George? If your record's like 3-0, then I think you hold CMC for sure. Um, yeah, I got you, Raymond. But just let me know your record real quick, and I'll tell you. Like if you're like 3-0, I think you keep CMC. 2-1, you keep CMC. 1-2 is where you definitely question making that trade, just because I think that you're gonna get more value out of Jordan Mason right now. So, and you already had Barkley and Gibbs. So just let me know real quick, and I'll let you know. You're 2-1, yeah. Okay, so I would hold on to CMC for now. Um, CMC and Olave, because I think CMC, once he comes back, he's undoubtedly gonna have that workhorse role in this offense. The main question really is if he will come back. But I mean I think he will. Can I get talked out of starting Tyler Huntley over Jordan Love? Um, my so make the trade, yeah, Mason. Oh, I read that wrong. Yeah, yeah, make that trade for sure. I would take CMC and Olave from Mason and Jason. Um, sorry, George, I read that long. It's been a long day. All right, Chris. So we got. Can I get talked out of starting Tyler Huntley over Jordan Love? Good question. The only thing I would say about that is that obviously Jordan Love's already proven in this Packers offense. And Tyler Huntley, this is gonna be his first game with the Dolphins, but you're obviously gonna have more rushing upside with Tyler Huntley than Jordan Love. Um, really, the only thing I'd be a little bit cautious about is just because it's Tyler Huntley's first game and he's only been with the team for like a week, week and a half. So I would probably start Jordan Love if you want to be more safe, because I think Jordan Love's we're gonna continue to see him pass the ball a lot. So that's just what I think there. But I wouldn't blame him for starting Tyler Huntley just because of how explosive that Dolphins offense is. Um, let's see. Also, I have Josh Allen. Do I need Jaden Daniels? Not a QB league. Yeah. Okay. So, if you have Daniels, I would try to trade him for a receiver better than Addison. But if you're because if you have Josh Allen, you really only need to roster him because he's QB1 rest of the season for sure. Jaden Daniels honestly might be like QB3 in my opinion. Just because of his rushing upside. So if you can try to get Jaden Daniels for like a pretty good receiver, then I would do that for sure. But if you can't, then I wouldn't blame you for dropping him for Addison. But I would definitely try to make a trade for Jaden Daniels for like a receiver. All right. I think that's all the questions there. That was a big flurry of questions. All right. I think we finished talking about this game. So I'm gonna go to the next game. Let's look at the. Yeah, this is my favorite game of the week here by far. The Bills versus Baltimore. Um, yeah, I got you, KTM. So if we're looking at the Bills, right? Obviously, they're the best. They're one of the best offenses in the league. I mean, if you're having Josh Allen as your quarterback, you're going to be one of the best offenses in the league, even if your receivers aren't that good. Um, it's kind of like what we saw with Patrick Mahomes last year, almost. I mean, and their rush game is looking good with James Cook. I think that that's going to continue to be really good. And, obviously Josh Allen with his rushing ability too. So, I mean, I think that this Ravens defense, it's definitely going to be a test for them, right? So far, at least looking at these numbers, their defense has not been the best passing-wise. But their run game, they've been really good at stopping the run game. So, definitely going to be something interesting to see how they cover Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, and the rest of the Bills with the receivers here. I know that they allow the second most fantasy points to tight ends this year. So if you have Dalton Kincaid, someone who you definitely want to start. But going on the other side here, right? We're looking at the Bills defense. They've been so good. I mean they've been limiting. They limited the Jaguars to 10 points. And they destroyed the Dolphins, who obviously didn't have Tua for like the last quarter, I believe. Maybe it was like quarter and a half. Can't remember when he was out. But I mean, still, they were able to stop that Dolphins defense for a first half and just like completely destroy them. So this is definitely also gonna be a test here for Lamar, right? I think that who's favored in this game? Probably the Bills, right? No, the Ravens are favored. Wow. Okay, I would have thought the Bills were favored, but I would definitely think the Bills are gonna win this game just because I think that there's this isn't really a test for the Bills. I feel like this is more a test for the Ravens. Like, can they stop the pass game of the Bills? Can they stop, or can they try to stop Josh Allen, right? Um, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, also something to look at with Mark Andrews here. I think he only played like 40% of the snaps last week. Like I said before, I think his role's going to continue to go up and up. It's just about time, you know. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. I would have thought that the Bills would have the money line there. I don't know. All right, Titans versus the Dolphins. Let's see. With the Titans, we have. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting distracted. But with the Titans, right? Obviously they suck, but the Dolphins also with Tyler Huntley are not good. But now that they said that he was starting, I think that they're favored by more now, which makes a lot of sense. I'd rather have Tyler Huntley than oh my gosh, Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle. Let's see what they're projecting. They 204 pass yards, touchdown, interception. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that this offense is going to be better off with Tyler Huntley than Skylar Thompson for sure, especially after how bad Skylar Thompson played last game. Looking at the Titans though, I am curious to see if Levis can ever like break out into like a decent quarterback at least. I think he has the potential with the weapons. Like Okonkwo is a pretty good tight end. D Hop and Calvin Ridley, those are two good receivers, and he has Tyler Boyd. So it's not like you know, his weapons aren't horrible, right? Like they're not like, you know, who has really bad weapons. Let's see. I like the Panthers last year. Their only weapon really was Adam Thielen, right? So they're not like that bad. It's really just about like Will Levis how he plays. But I am curious to see how Tyler Huntley plays with this Dolphins offense. I'm curious to see if they're gonna like how much they're gonna run to pass the ball. I think we're probably gonna see Achane get a lot of handoffs. But I mean, I'm also curious to see how Tyreek Hill does with Huntley. That'll definitely be something to watch for sure. And I think that's a Monday Night Football game, right? Yes. So we're having another back to back with Seattle versus Detroit. This is the last game that we have to look at. I mean, looking at it though, right? We're looking at okay. So Kenneth Walker is coming back. They just announced that like an hour ago about. But I think that he and Zach Charbonnet are actually going to be splitting carries, so that's going to be something to monitor if you have him in fantasy football. I don't know if you can start him just yet. Same thing with Charbonnet. I don't know if I would start him yet. Looking at DK Metcalf and JSN, I think JSN's going to continue to get more of a role. I wouldn't say this is his max role just yet. I feel like he's kind of at like a what type of graph is that? Let me pull up the graphs here. It's like a let me see. It's not exponential. Let me see this. Okay. This looks like an e to the x. Let me show you all this. This is like what JSN's roll is kind of looking like. Right? We're seeing his roll go up and up and up like at a pretty good rate, and then as the season goes on, he's going to continue to get more of a roll, but it's going to be like smaller. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, obviously you can't get more than 100% of snaps. I think that he's going to. I think right now he's at like 85, 90% of snaps. So I think as the season goes on, we're going to see him get like 92, 93. And I think that's probably going to be his max. But this is kind of like my projection here, right, for Jason. This was like the beginning of the year. And it just went up. And then, we're like sitting around somewhere over here. And it's going to keep going up. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking, right? Um, and I think that, the opposite goes for Tyler Lockett. I think we're going to continue to see his graph go down, right? DK Metcalf, I think we're going to continue to see his graph stay like, I guess at zero, because like we knew like how good he was going to be, how many targets he was going to be, so it's going to be the same, right? Um, but looking at Geno, I think we're going to continue to see him throw the ball a decent amount. So I think that DK and JSN are going to continue to get a lot of the workload um, out of this offense. Would you trade Alan Olave? Look at this one. Would you trade Alan Olave for Ayuk, Mason, and Richardson? Probably not, because Anthony Richardson really hasn't proven that he's um he's gonna be like a startable QB every week. Like he's almost becoming like a streamer quarterback where you can only start him against matchups just because of how bad he's been. Um, I really just it's hard for me to trade away Josh Allen with how good he's been playing, you know. And Olave, I think, is going to continue to be the wide receiver one for the Saints going forward. I think this week though, like I'm just thinking about this week. I thought I saw something about his injury. If he was being injured, let me see. Yeah, he's questionable this week because he was limited yesterday. Um, but I mean, I do think that it's not a bad time. CMC owner worried about. Well, this week and Adams out. Okay. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So I am also, or I was a CMC owner, so I'm definitely. Actually, no, I do have CMC in another league, so I feel that. Um. Oh, and you have Devontae. Okay. What's your record right now, Chris? Are you in like win now mode, or is it like are you like chilling with your record? So I actually had Josh Allen as well, and I had to flip him because my team right now is in shambles with injuries. So I wouldn't blame you for trading him. 1 and 2. Yeah, I would probably do that. Redraft. Yeah. Um, because if we're looking at it right, then you're gonna have Mason and CMC, so you don't really have to worry about how that's gonna work out with the Niners backfield. Um, Ayuk's definitely someone who I would buy right now, considering how bad he's been playing, and I think his role is going to continue to go up. With Anthony Richardson and Josh Allen, obviously Josh Allen's the better quarterback by far, but I do actually think that Anthony Richardson should get it together. Like that's what I hope at least because um, I just think he's so talented as a quarterback, and I want him to do well. So I would pull that trade, especially if you're 1 and 2. If you were 3-0, I would say like not to do it, even possibly 2-1. But since you're 1 and 2, you're kind of desperate for wins, so I would do that. I wouldn't say you're desperate for wins because it's so early in the season, but you want to win games, obviously. And you also have Olave and Adams out this week. Should you keep Chubbs? If you've held onto him for this long, I would keep him. Because I feel like it's kind of weird, right? I kind of can I bring up like a drawing graph. Let me show you. Let me show you this visually. Yeah, I got you, Chris. Um, can I get like a drawing board up here? Drawing board. Actually, I might be able to do something like this. Let me just go white screen. Right. Let's just get this white screen here, right? And then we're gonna take a screenshot. I want to show you what people look at for injured players, right? All right. Can you see this? Yeah. Let me move my face cam a little bit. Actually, here we can just. I'll just put it here, right? So we're looking at injured players, right? This is kind of what their value is. So this is like the draft, right? That's their value. This is kind of as the season goes on. People like just kind of forget about them. Don't really, I think their value goes down for a lot of people, right? And then they're coming back, and then boom, they're back, right? This is kind of how I view them, right? I view them. Let me get a different color here so you can see better. Let's go with this one. So I'm here at the draft as well. But as they come back, my value for them actually increases because you're going to have to wait less time. Right? And then I actually value them more when they're back because I'm just like that, I guess. I don't know. But we're seeing this gap here, right? So this is me. Right? And then this is other fantasy managers. Right? So what we're looking at right now, Nick Chubb's kind of like here. So that's where people are valuing Nick Chubb right now, and this is where I value Nick Chubb. And currently, as someone who has a pretty bad record at 0-3, because my whole team is hurt, I'm still keeping Nick Chubb. And you may be asking why. And I think it's because you can't get the same amount of value right now as he's worth, right? I think goes the same thing as for someone like T.J. Hawkinson, right, with his injury. So I mean that's just my opinion. I wouldn't trade him because I don't think you can get the same amount of value back as I would want, right? That's kind of what I think about that. I hope that drawing helps. I know I'm a visual person, so when I get visual drawings, I learn better. Um, did I talk about everything? I feel like I did. Maybe I didn't. No, I did talk about the Seahawks lines, I think. Yeah, I did. Cowboys Giants. I mean, I expected the Cowboys to win this. If we want to go into this, I thought the Cowboys were going to win this. It was kind of crazy how much the Giants kind of like just sat on the ball. Like I think their time of possession was a lot more than the Cowboys. I wonder if it shows us that. I don't know. I have to figure it out. Did they cover? No. Oh my gosh, minus 5.5. That's crazy. They didn't cover by half a point. Sports books. I mean, but yeah. The time of possession for this game was really heavily in favor with the Giants just because of how many short passes they would make, and then the clock would keep going, or like they would run the ball. So a little bit disappointing there because I wanted to see Dak Prescott do more because he's my fantasy quarterback. But other than that, I think that's really all I have to talk about. What is this? Oh, probably shouldn't show you guys that. But I mean, I think that's it. You guys want to look at my fantasy team? Let me show you guys my fantasy team. So this is kind of what I'm thinking, right? Different team. I think my main question is Jaden Reed or T, like I said before. So I think I'm gonna go T, but I'll make that decision later. I'm kind of interested to see what they're saying about um who has okay, I know this guy. This guy has Ayuk. Let's look at Ayuk. All right, he's projected 13. I want to see what Debo's projected. I'm just curious about that. Debo, 14.7. Okay, kind of what I expected. All right, but yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of it. I appreciate you guys for tuning in on another Saturday live stream. I think that was pretty successful. Hopefully you guys checked out my video. If not, it is on my channel. I uploaded it on Thursday, which it's kind of like what we did here, but I think here we covered more fantasy football. So if you want to see like matchups, basically, oh, this is dark. If you want to look at matchups, kind of, I went over that more in depth than we did here. Oh, last question here. Mr. 23. Would it be wild if I started Darnold over Hurts this week with his wide receivers out? You got Jettis. Honestly, no. I don't think so. Just because of how bad not Saquon, how bad Jalen Hurts has been playing, and on top of that, you got the stack with JJ. I'm really bad at remembering who they play. I think that they're playing they're playing the Packers, the Vikings, that is, and the Eagles are playing the Buccaneers. I mean, I wouldn't blame you, considering you have Justin Jefferson. I wouldn't blame you. I would probably go Darnold, honestly, just because of like I said, how bad Jalen Hurts has been playing. I don't think there's much of a difference between, obviously I think, oh, I should say this. Hurts, I think, has a higher ceiling than Sam Darnold just because of his rushing upside, right? But we haven't really seen, like, Hurts do too much because of how many turnovers he's getting and how bad he's been for fantasy. So I wouldn't blame you for starting Darnold. I honestly think he's a safer option than Hurts. Team is Daniels, A-Chain, Jones, DK, Diggs, Brian Robinson. Do I trade Diggs and Flowers for Devontae? You got Daniels, A-Chain, Jones, DK, Diggs, B-Rob. Okay, so they need to be starting Vontae. And then does a guy want to do the trade now, Nick? Because I would try to wait on that, considering Devontae Adams isn't playing this week. So if you can do that next week, I wouldn't mind it. Um, but obviously since Devontae's out this week, I probably wouldn't pull the trigger on that. Just because, and obviously Devontae Adams is the obvious wide receiver one um for the Raiders, and Gardner Minshew's been targeting Devontae Adams a lot. So I do like that you're getting Devontae Adams here for sure, especially considering Zay Flowers really hasn't been used that much for the Ravens, and Diggs is the second wide receiver in an offense where Nico Collins is like the alpha wide receiver one. So I wouldn't blame you for doing that. I would just try to hold off on that if you could. That's kind of what I think there. Appreciate the question though, Nick. All right, I think that's really it here. Um, I thought today was a fun live stream. Random thought. But yeah, okay, I guess I'll see you guys next week. I really do appreciate you guys checking out the stream. Um, we'll be back next week, so make sure you guys tune in next week as well. I'll be posting on my I forgot to post on my Twitter that was live. It's fine. I'll post on my Twitter next time. My Twitter's in the description below, as well as all my links with my blog that I really don't post on that much anymore. That I should, because the Astros are in the playoffs. It's more Houston stuff, so if you're into that, that's in the description. My Twitter's there, so if you want to see like when videos go up, I would check that out too, because that's usually where I go. This is like the first time I haven't said I'm live. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video, or the next video, I guess, or the next short really, because my short will come out before my next video. So I'll see you guys later.